name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. The weather report. Well look, it's around 22 to 30 degrees most days at the moment. The last few days it's been quite overcast, and I think on Saturday it was sort of just a little bit of drizzle, and we ended up with 9mm for the week. Now, the no runoff rain, so the dams probably got 9mm worth in them, but the grass has just taken off. This little bit of rain every week or two really seems to get the grass going. So there we lose a day a week on the mower nowadays. So out around Bundy Bear's Shed here, I've really got to take a day and get the whippersnipper out and clean up around. The long grass coming near the shed is getting quite high, and I need to get, I've got a few pallets of like the front axle, the old front axle off the 135 here and things like that on pallets out there. Out in the weather they're a bit buggered, but that's fine. And but I need to get the forklift and move all that back and mow through there and whippersnip, then put them back if that's what I'm going to do. I've got too much shit in my shed at the moment to get them up on the pallet racking, and I do have a couple of spaces on the pallet racking that I could put it up there. I've got a multi-power gearbox sitting out there in the weather at the moment, but I've got it all so it all drains out, but I need to get that in, and we'll work on that over the next day or two hopefully. It's Monday morning, so the weekend's racing away. I've only got today left, and Saturday morning I got into the on the TEA 20. There'll be a video coming out this week on that. Now, with the steering box off, I was just cleaning up around there, and I found that on the selector shafts you have the one on the left as you sit on the seat goes right forward, and it's your engagement for your starter switch. Then there's a second one and a third one across, your 2, 3 and your 1 and 2, and coming from the other one. Yeah, so you got to think the gear stick goes this way, but because it pivots one, is actually the one on your right. So I was cleaning that up and having a bit of a look, and I remember when I first started this TEA 20 up, when I first got it, just to see what old Smokey was doing, the starter switch didn't work. So I thought, well, it was just a great opportunity to do a video without the steering box on where the shaft pushes and how it pushes up and clicks that. So I pulled that apart. I was trying to get one stud out and I broke that little top on it. And I thought, oh, bullshit. Yeah, just the luck of the draw, right? But look, it looked like it had been cracked for a bit, but that's beside the point. When we had the flood back in 2013, I had some starter switches went under in the flood, and some while ago now, I pulled them apart just to see if I was going to put them in the bin or not, and all the springs were rusted out because that water was very corrosive for some reason. And but I kept the plastic top, so yeah, luckily I did. That saved the day for us. So I've got that switch working, and look, when I tested it with an ohms meter in the video, it was working, so who knows. But today there's not going to be much video and going on. I'm going to clean my shed here, and the reason is, God, I live in a bloody mess some days. I've got parts for this tractor here, that tractor there. I got over in the pallet racking, I've got boxes of Fergie parts, like big boxes, 4 foot square and so deep with smaller boxes in them, one for steering, one for hydraulics, one for PDO, one for axles, one for air inlet and carbies and things like that. So anyway, I couldn't find, I mean, on the selector in the middle there's a 1-inch Welsh plug missing, which that leaks oil into your bell housing. So I've got the steering box off, so before I put the steering box on, I thought, well, I'll do the video on the switch, which I've already done. I've completed that for the week, and I thought I'd grab me Welsh plugs. And last time I had a shed clean up, I had Welsh plugs in the Fergie boxes, and I had Welsh plugs sitting up on the back there. And I had a few different places where I had them, so I went to town and I bought a plastic pot, and I put Welsh plugs in it. Now, all the Welsh plugs I could find within Cooey, I put in this plastic box. So I went to grab that. I was sure I knew where it was. Bloody thing's not there. So And look, it's got me stuffed. These drawers, well, the shelves just behind the blue toolbox here, on the back of them I've got plastic boxes all the same size, and one has bolts in it, you know, bolts and washers, and yeah, there's just different selections of parts in there, and I had them around there, and I've gone to look for this box. Well, I bummed around here for an hour or so the other day and I couldn't find the bastards. I don't know what I've done. I can't even remember using it. No one else has been in my shed, so I just don't know what I've done with the bloody thing. So today, this morning, I'm looking around now looking for the give you the shits. I'm looking for it now, so pardon me. So yeah, I said to the dude, today I'm just going to take time out and I'm going to clean my shed up and just spend the whole day on it if I need to. Because, yeah, well, you all know how busy I am, and I come in the shed through the week with something in the ute and a warranty part or something, and often I don't chuck them out. I think, oh, well, I might be able to get a bracket off that or something, so everything just gets chucked in at the door there. I'll sort that out on the weekend, but then the weekend comes, and of course, Lance doesn't bloody do that. He does all sorts of other shit, but doesn't get the tidying the shed up. So, look, I haven't had a good clean up in here for about 7 or 8 months. And I sweep out the main bits regularly, but all the corners, like up on the welding bench and the big old Alfred Herbert drill and all that, they don't get looked at often. So I thought, well, today I'm just going to start in that corner. I'm going to work my way out with the bin, with the wheelie bin near me. Pardon me. And I'm going to see if I can come across this Welsh plug, because I can't put the steering box on until I find these Welsh plugs. I know I've got them, and yeah, look, I'm just not sure. The last time I think I might have had them was on the 135 multi-power here. I think I put new Welsh plugs on the end of the brake shafts, but I've looked around there and I can't see them. But look, it's just because I'm an untidy bastard that I just got to have a bit of a clean up, get back to square one and tidy up. Over near the doorway there, when I cleaned out my Colorado for sale, I put everything in a pile there because I thought, oh well, my ute won't be long, I'll sort it out and work out what I want back in the new ute and all that sort of thing. So that's just sat there, and well, as you know, the new ute's dragging on. So Toyota rang me and said, hey Lance, your ute's here. And I said, oh bloody beauty. I said, you know, where's it going first, TJM or you know, auto kit to get the tray on, or what's going on? And they said, oh well, we'll get the pre-delivery bloke onto it right away and get it to you. So I thought, oh fair enough. So I left it a couple of days and I rang auto kit, and I said, you got my ute down there? And they said, no, we've got your tray here all ready to go on, and I'm getting the tray without any sides put on, but I have the sides. I got the bundle of hinges and all that off them the other day, and reason being, with that front canopy, where they would just put the hinges, I need to cut the sides down to match that canopy. So wherever they put them would be wrong. I'd have to shift them and have a dick around. So I asked them, yeah, could I have the hinges and the sides and all that brand new? And when I get the ute and I get the canopy set up on it properly, I can cut my sides. And so the idea is that the front canopy stays there. The back canopy, the big camping one, it's 1.8 by 1.8. That one there I can lift off, put sides on and use the ute for the business to bring pallets home and just use it as a ute in general. And then when we're going away, or we want to do some camping or something like that, or when we want to carry something that's we want to keep out of the weather, we can just drop the canopy on the back, the big one, and use that. So when we got the canopy made, it's folded down the edge, but then 75mm up, we've got a complete ute tray fitted inside there. So it's very strong. And so anyway, so they said your sides and all there, so off I went down to get them, and I said, you mind if I run a tape over it? Because I had my Colorado there, so we measured the ute. Because I was always worried, you know, sometimes you say, I want a tray exactly the same as the last one, and when you get it, oh well, this is a new model and things have changed 10mm or something, and that would be a problem for us. So I went and got the sides, had a yarn to them, and put a tape over the train. It's exactly the same as my old one, which is something I haven't got to think about now. I was worrying about that a little bit, thinking, oh, this might be shit yet. But yeah, so it's a good tray. It's just looks like it'll be fine for what we want, and the canopy should sit on there nicely. So I picked up all the hardware and the bits and pieces they didn't need, and I also asked them not to put tie rails on. We're going different. We'll probably use those aircraft strips for the tie rails. That's what I'm thinking at this stage anyway. So we'll see how we go with that. So yeah, they hadn't seen the ute, so and hadn't been talking to Toyota. And Toyota said, "Oh, we'll ring them. I'll get the." Apparently they've got a pre-delivery manager. We'll get him onto it and we'll get it all happening. So yeah, all right, that'll be good. So I thought, oh well, it won't be there. Perhaps it's over at TJM getting the Lovell's lift kit on and the GVM upgrade all done. So I rang Terry over at TJM and he said, no, he hasn't got it, but I've got a bit of bad news for you. And I was like, oh, have you? And he said, yeah, that kit, he said, we ordered it when you bought the ute in the middle of November, and he said, Lovell's can't supply the kit at the moment. And I said, oh, why is that? And he said, oh, with COVID and that, some of the steel companies and that closed down, and they're just having trouble getting the steel to do the springs. And I said, they're not coming from bloody China, are they? And he said, no, they're Australian made, Aussie company, they make their own springs down in Melbourne and that, but he said they're just having trouble. They're waiting on springs for the kits, and they're waiting on over 500 sets of springs for these kits. So, and I've been on the Land Cruiser Facebook pages, and yeah, everyone's waiting, and it's just how it is. So I said, well, when can I expect my ute? And he said, well, we'll probably have our bit done. He said, what they're saying at the moment is end of February, perhaps early March. And I said, oh, well, not much you can do. So Toyota rang me up like 4 or 5 days later and said, oh, we got your ute here, Lee. So I said, well, no, you rang me ages ago and you were going to get it round to all the places to get fitted. But I said, well, have you talked to Terry? And they said, oh, they hadn't talked to anyone. So I was just sitting there in the yard out in the open. And I said, well, I think you better talk to Terry because, yeah, the lift kit before Rego is not going to be here till February. But I said, the tray's there, if you want to send it over and get the tray fitted, they're right to go, and the Heyman Reese X-Bar, it's ready to go, and things like that. So they said, oh, okay then. So then I get a ring from the salesman. He says, oh, look, he says, what we might do, we might just register your ute and let you have it, then we'll do the other bit later. And I said, oh, yeah, fair fault. I said, the only reason we're waiting for this GVM upgrade kit is because if I do it before registration, I can go 4,200 kilograms and my towing comes up with it. I said, if you just register that bloody thing and I can't upgrade it, I can get this upgrade, but I can't do my towing, well, the whole purpose of buying the vehicle is no good. And he said, oh, so that's a long time. He said, we got the ute, and they're looking for their money, I think. And I said, anyway, I said, you register it, I won't be taking it. It's just, you can piss off. And so I said, the whole idea of getting this V8 Land Cruiser ute, and you know, it costs you half an arm and a leg and your left nut, is to get the towing capacity. I'm pretty pleased about having the V8, and the towing and the lift, you know, the carrying capacity, it's the only one on the market, a single cab, that will do what we want it to do. So, oh, okay then. So anyway, so I rang it back and I said, look, I'm going to put some of that ceramic paint coating on it and get the windows tinted the darkest legal tint we can do. I said, even though I haven't taken it, that wasn't part of our deal. If I talk to a tinter car and get it organised, you know, ask them to ring you, will your people put the trade plate on it and drop it over there to get the paint done? So they reckon they'll do that for us. So that's a good thing. So I don't know when I'm going to see me ute. We were hoping to have everything done to it and go away. Well, the young bloke's getting married on the 13th of March, so about the end of April sometime, Jude and I were heading away. So yeah, if we don't get it till March, mid-March or something like that sometime, we're really going to be pushing to get away on our holidays. So you wouldn't believe you could buy a vehicle in November, then it may be March until you get it. Then, so I went out of yarn to ARB, and they're really looking after me. Like I'm really enjoying going in there, having a chat. Yeah, they just seem to be helping out. They gave me a little bit of special pricing on my goods, and so I've ordered all that the other day. So, and told them, and they're going to get it in. And I said, "Do you want a deposit? You know, like it's a lot of money we're spending in there." And they said, "Oh no, she's right. We know you, known you for years. She's good, so that's nice." And I said, "Well, yeah, if you want me to pay half up front or something like that, I'm happy to." And they said, "No, she's good." All right. So they're ordering me the ARB twin compressor, the air compressor, because we're going to have air compressor on board, and they're ordering me that up, and the holding tank, the 1 gallon, 5 litre holding tank, and so they're going to get that up for me, and the big Safari Armax snorkel, they're getting that up for me. They were going to, they quoted on fitting it, and I said, "Look, I've fitted all my snorkels in the past, I'd like to fit this one too." And I said, "Yeah, no worries, yeah, we'll just get it for you." And look, the reason I do that is when you take your car to businesses and you get a few holes drilled here and there to put stuff in, they just drill the hole and put the bolt in. I don't, I drill the hole and I get a paint pen, or I get some X-Trol or something and I seal the hole, then I put me thread insert in and things like that. I dick around. So, and I make sure that, you know, when you're cutting it, the swath or the bit from cutting it out doesn't just sit down in the bottom of your inner, between your outer and your inner guard there, and start rusting away and things like that. So I'm a bit fussy with all that. And so they said, "Yeah, no worries." So they're going to get me the big Armax, the big high flow one. Safari 4x4 told me that they're going to give us a good discount on. They're going to help us out with pricing. It's not for free. ARB is not for free. You're still spending a lot of money. Our bill at ARB with our help will be over 10 grand probably. But that's all right. That's we're getting what we want. Yeah, from ARB we're going to get the bull bar, the scrub bars, and, you know, put plates down the side, or the side steps. There's 2 Warn winches, and Warn's made in America. They've been making winches 60 years. I looked them all up, and there's a new Evo Warn winch out. Well, that's made in China, and I said, "I don't want that bloody thing." And so the Warn Xeon winch is the next one up. It's $1,000 dearer, but I've gone with that because it's full American made. You know, they're proven. And in town here, for like $800, you can buy a Chinese winch, $800 to $1,200 in town. You can buy a Chinese winch anywhere. And look, I don't live on my winch, but I just want quality. I'm looking for a quality product. So we're going with Warn. So ARB front bar, Warn winch, ARB Solaris LED lights. So the driving lights. So one of them, the one on the right, is going to be a spot to head way down the road, and they're still taking light readings off those lights at 1.4 kilometres, which is like a mile, but in reality the good light's up the road for around 700 metres, the usable light. Then the one on the left's a spread beam, and for LED lights, and I've had it with my collie, when you're driving along at night and the LED lights, that white light's that bright, you go past the road sign and the reflective stuff on the road sign, it just shines back at you, and it's bloody glary. It's a bit much. So these new Solaris lights, they're bloody dear, and like you know, by the time we get them done and fitted, it's nearly a couple of grand. And but then we can also dim them. So we can, there's 4 or 5 dimming settings, so we can actually dim our driving lights. So if the signs are giving you the shits, or you don't need them full bore down the road, you can just back them off a little bit. So we're getting them from ARB, dual battery system. Now the dual battery, we're gonna have the main battery in under the bonnet, then the battery behind that, which is the one we're putting on there. They're putting in a whole brand new tray for us for the auxiliary battery. Now that setup I got in the back of my canopy that I spent a lot of yesterday on, it's a DC-DC charger with solar input. So if I put a big wire from the batteries up the front, up the arse there, right to the back, it'll charge my other battery at around 80 amps, which is heaps. Well, it says maximum 80, so whether it does a full 80 I don't know. So we're having a separate battery there, then we're having an SB1, a Red Arc SB1 voltage sensitive solenoid to the second battery. So what happens is when the alternator's charging, it just chuffs all the power into that front battery. Then when it gets over about 12.5 volts, 13 volts, I'm not sure of the exact figures, but the points in it shut and it starts charging your second battery. And so the second battery, once you stop the car, both batteries will stay up at say 12.7, 8, 9 volts, 13 volts. And if you're using your stuff at the back or charging your battery at the back, they'll both come down together. And then once you get to, look, I think it's 12.4 volts or something like that. I'm not sure of the figures, like I say. They separate. And so the back battery, the auxiliary battery, if you drain that down a little bit, it doesn't really matter. So you've still got your start battery. But then we're also getting a switch wired onto the dash that we can hit override on that. And if for some reason we leave our lights on or something and the main start battery gets low, doesn't want to crank, well, I've got a switch on the dash, I can hit that, that'll lock the solenoid together and I can jump start off myself. Then the main battery, the main feed for the system in the back, it's going to come off the auxiliary battery. I'm not 100% sure yet whether I'll hook the feed off the auxiliary or the main battery. The auxiliary will have some of the stuff in the cabin, UHF and things like that, if I want to leave that on with the key off. And from the alternator back, well, that'll charge the battery in the back that runs the fridge and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's why I'm thinking of doing it. And anyway, having an auxiliary battery just for the stuff on the ute. Then the other thing is when we're winching, if we're doing a winch pull or something like that, I can hit the button on the dash. I can lock my two batteries under the bonnet together and that'll give us maximum cranking amps and a longer cranking time. So we're getting it all set up slowly. We're using the Red Arc Tow Pro. They're an electronic brake controller. Yeah, so look, it's all coming together pretty well. I can't think what else I'm getting from my RV. There's stuff everywhere coming. So the utes getting quite expensive, but we don't mind. We haven't got it, and so anyway, we're just chugging along with it. It's an expensive exercise. I'm looking forward to getting it. I spent a lot of yesterday afternoon on the a lot of yesterday all day on that front canopy. Now you'll see I made the switch panel in that a few weeks ago, a fortnight ago probably, and I sat it all there, but I hadn't got it all wired in. So yesterday I sat down with the soldering iron and I heat shrink. I use marine heat shrink, and marine heat shrink is not like normal heat shrink just shrinks, but the marine heat shrink's got like a glue in it, and so when it cools, it's got a glued finish around it, and so no moisture can get in. So I've been using marine grade heat shrink, and I'm wiring up all the panels and getting all that going. So it's time consuming, and I've put a flush mounted fuse box that comes in from the back for the fuses for all the auxiliaries, and so yeah, I may get up there, if I get the shed tidied up a bit today, I might get up and continue with that. I'm in the middle of it, and well, I'm coming out the other side, but we'll see. I got the Selfie, the foam booster aerial up. There's a section of the roof of the canopy probably so big that it's a nice ground plane. They say try and find a bit of a ground plane, so that'll be alright. And I've got a folding mount so it lays down, so unless we need that aerial on, we're not going to put it on to run around town in our daily use. It'll just go on when we need it. The aerials will be stored behind the seat, and so if we get out and about and we think, shit, we've got no phone service, we'd like something or we need an emergency call or something, I mean, we'll go with that. So, yes, I don't know when I'll get this ute, but anyway, that's probably a good thing. It gives me time to play with tractors a bit, but we'll see how we go. But I'm back on trying to lose a few kilos. I lost a heap 3 years ago. I started losing weight. It was, and I lost 34 kilos back then. But well, actually, I lost about 38. But the 38, I was only down there for a week or two, and I couldn't seem to sustain that. So I had a happy medium in there, and so I put about 2 kilos on, and I just stayed like that for about 18 months. But over the last year, not this September gone, the one before, if you remember, Judy and I went on holidays down in Mildura, and well, we had a fat time. And we went to breweries and we ate out and all that, and I put 4 kilos on there, and 4 or 5 kilos on the one holidays, just having a blast. And I thought, oh, I'll come home and I'll lose that, I'll just keep my trap shut and get rid of all that. But yeah, look, I didn't do that. So, but anyway, look, over the Christmas break, well, I had my birthday last October, and I'd put on another couple by then, and then I put on another 4 from October to the end of the Christmas break. But look, there was no limits. I was just eating, drinking, buggering around. So I put on about 14 kilos of the 34 I lost. So so now we're back on track. We're on the weight loss thing at the moment, and I've been on for about a week, and I haven't jumped on the scales. I'll do that at work, but I know I've lost 4 or 5 kilos probably. But I got the young bloke's wedding. And when I was skinny, I bought a few pairs of jeans and that. Now I put them on, and I think, God, these bloody things must have shrunk. So anyway, I got the young bloke's wedding coming up in March. So I said to Jude, I'm just going to hop on track and stay off the beers and things like that, and see if I can get back to where I was, and if not further. And so 13th of March, that gives me like 8 weeks or something like that. So I should be able to bust it in 8 weeks if I stay true and I exercise, you know. And look, I don't do exercise, I just walk up to the shed and back and wander around the shed and doodle about. And, so anyway, we'll drop a few off again, and we know how to do it. It's just, you've got to get your mind in the right place. If you want to lose a few kilos, or put a few on, or whatever you need to do, and give up smoking, give up drinking, whatever you need to do, you've got to get your mind ready for it. And I've been working on that since Christmas. And yeah, the week between Christmas and New Year, I was bloody hopeless. Couldn't walk past the fridge without opening it, having a look. And there was all this nice shit in there, like all this stuff we don't normally have. So anyway, so we're back on track now. We're just eating steak and eggs and a bit of cheese and things like that. And I can drop away on that, no worries. So and I feel like I say, I haven't hopped on the scales, but I can feel it. I've lost a few kilos for sure. So I'll stay on that and try and get back down to where I was, so I can fit me duds. Yeah, it's bloody expensive buying new duds. So I'll let you know how I'm going. If I drop a few kilos each week or something like that, I'll let you know and see how we go over the next couple of months. And look, one thing, I got my right knee that plays up a lot, and it has for years, and it's not worth getting fixed yet or anything. I can keep the pain away with Panadol, osteo and things like that. And but yeah, back when I was lighter, I could that pain went away a bit, and it's been starting to play up a bit. So that's part of the trigger to drop a few kilos off. So, but yeah, when you like a beer and you like a party and you like a good time, it's my nephews. I blame them. They get me out on the drink and things. I don't need much of an excuse for a beer, I tell you. So anyway, we're going to keep my trap shut with that. So. But look, that's about it. Work's still busy. Ross will be back this week. He's been away on his Christmas break. He's coming today, then he's got an appointment tomorrow, so he won't be in tomorrow. But yeah, we've just been on skeleton staff at work, and well, we've been getting by, getting the jobs done, but yeah, there's no time for anything else. It's just slog away at the jobs, and yeah, there's no time for doodling about, having a yarn or anything. We're all knuckling in. I've got a couple of new computers there, so I thought I'd ring Sharp Bundaberg and get the POS point of sale program, but they don't come back till this week, so we're going to try and book in and get that on the computers this week. Car, I rang them the other day, but they're on holidays till this week, so I'm going to ring them and see if they can talk to Luke at Toyota and get the tint and all that sort of shit done on the ute as well. And we'll see. So anyway, I still got to get me 2030 back together. I keep looking at it. I said to Jude the other day, the grass is getting that long in the paddock. I'm just going to put the slasher behind the 1640 John Deere and do the slashing when I feel like doing that. And having a few acres, look, it's great to have a few acres, but through the winter months there's not much to do outside, and you've got a bit of spare time. But through the summer months and when you're in the wet season here like we are now, you spend a lot of time on the mower and just trying to keep the place tidy. So I'll do that. Next weekend will be one big day. Well, this last Saturday I was going to whip a snip around the shed and that, but it was drizzling rain. I thought, oh, bloke's got rocks in his head. So I come up and I did the video on the TEA. So look, that's it for this week. That's what's going on in Bundy Bear's shed. Nothing too exciting. Yeah, I'm just going to have a tidy up today. There won't be any more videos this week. I've got the one on the TE20 safety switch will come out this week. I've got enough there to do that. If I find this Welsh plug box, and it'll drive me nuts if I don't. I'll probably get it videoed, knocking the Welsh plug in, and that'll be part of it. And then next weekend we'll film popping the sealing the bottom of the steering box up and putting it on and just bolting a few things up and a bit of knick-knacky stuff. So we'll see how we go with that. But in the meantime, big shed clean up. I've got junk everywhere. I haven't got little tracks to walk through. I've got, you can wheel a crane everywhere, but I just got shit everywhere. So I've got a 20-foot bench over against the wall there. Probably 20 foot. And I've never been able to work on that in years. I've got old faithful here. Yeah, so anyway. Well, have a good week, everyone. Thanks for dropping by. Like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. We're almost at 25,000 subs. We'll get there soon on Friday. I haven't looked since Friday. On Friday we had 150 to go. So that's a bit of a milestone for a little channel with a bloke that dicks around with tractors and talks a lot. That's it. But anyway, look, once again, thanks for dropping by. Have a good week, everyone, and we'll talk to you next week. This is a little bit of a quick little bit I forgot to add into the stew that it's going to be tagged on the end. And I got contacted by Quality Tractor Parts in Ireland, and if you remember back, I bought a 135 bonnet off them for the 6-speed over there, the 135 6-speed, but I still haven't got the bonnet on, because every time I look at the bonnet and start working on it, I think this effing thing. And so, I've been having real trouble getting motivated on that bonnet because it's a heap of shit. And so anyway, Quality contacted me, and we talk reasonably often, but the development mob rang me or emailed me and said, look, we've seen your video on the bonnet from a while ago, and we've taken that video and we've given it to our suppliers, and we've told them of the shortfalls in these panels that are out there, and here's a review, and these are things we need to fix. So they said what the trouble is with their suppliers, and look, I didn't ask where their suppliers are, but and look, I get contacted out of India to buy bonnets and things, so I'm thinking it may be there. I don't know that day. And so they said they got to send samples over, and they said, of course, to get a sample of a good 135 bonnet, anyone that's got a 135 with a good bonnet, they're not going to give it to Quality Tractor Parts or anyone else to send away as an example of one, so they can get all the measurements right. So, which is probably what's wrong with half the panels on the market at the moment. And so they said they've been to their supplier, where the spot welds were coming in, the gap at the front's no good, and they fixed that. They fixed a heap of things on it, and that I addressed in the video where the battery box didn't fit. The profile was wrong, and you had to work with that to get the bloody thing to fit. And a few other things. So they said, because of your review, we've sent your video over to the suppliers. They've come back with their revised bonnet, and they said they think it's pretty good. So would I like one? And yeah, seeing I didn't like the other one, would I like one at half price? So I said, oh well, okay, why not? So it still cost me like 350 Aussie bucks, Aussie dollars to fly it in, but they're giving me the kit, and I said this time we'll do a 14-inch bonnet. And look, the top's the same, I believe, and it's just the side, because this me solid axle 135 here could probably do with the 14 one. But anyway, they're going to send me one over, so I've agreed to that. That Quality are going to send me a new 135 bonnet kit, a 14-inch bonnet kit, and I do have a spare 13-inch grill, so I can mix and match and make what I like. So they're going to send me a new bonnet over. Perhaps in the next week or two, I'm expecting it. And once again, with flights and that at the moment, we're having trouble getting orders. And like some of the parts that you think we just have on the shelf and we have for years, we're really struggling. Like your Fergie T20 PDO shaft, your upgrade kit, take a winch and 3/8/6 spline. Just about everyone in the world's run out of them at the moment. So there's a bit of a backlog on them. We've got 5 on back order for customers, and yeah, plus we normally keep like half a dozen in stock, so we've gone through them and we've got another 5 on back order. So if they hit the country, we'll be buying 20 or 30 of them and putting them away. But look, so yeah, it'll come in. When it comes in, I'll set it up on a thing and we'll have a chat about it. I'll show you my thoughts on it, but they were pretty confident they'd fixed a lot of the little whingy things I was whinging my guts out about. So we'll see how we go. But like they said, they couldn't get a really good original bonnet to send over. No one just wants to, apart from buying a tractor with one on, I suppose. So that's coming up. Keep an eye out for that. I'm interested in it. I thought I'd put a few bob there. If it's a good thing, we'll do a review and we'll talk about it. When people address their product, if there's a fault in it and they actually address it and they put a bit of research and development in, that's always a good thing. So if I can work with people like that, I don't mind that at all. If I've got to put a couple of dollars towards something like that just to get a better product out of that, well, yeah, great. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just a little tack onto the stew. I forgot to put it in the middle. Catch you later.